right, guys, are you ready for chapter 10, our last chapter of Civil War on Sunday by Mary Hope Osborne? And if you guys have liked this book, check out lots of other Magic Treehouse books because there are tons of them on all kinds of subjects. They travel all over the world, back in time to all different events. So if you like our characters of Jack and Annie, look for some more Magic Treehouse books. This is our last chapter. It's chapter 10, titled Home Sweet Home. There was a booming in the distance. Jack opened his eyes and caught his breath. Is that cannon fire, he wondered? Are we still back in the Civil War? We're home, said Annie. Home sweet home. Oh man, Jack whispered. They were home. They were back in the Frog Creek woods. They were wearing their own comfortable clothes again. Remember when they went back in time, they had to wear the Civil War clothes too. So now they're back in their hometown of Frog Creek, and they're back in their regular clothes. The cannon fire was really only thunder. At that moment, Jack loved the thunder. Raindrops tapped against the treehouse. We better hurry, said Jack. Wait, leave the list in the treehouse, said Annie. It's the first special writing from Morgan's library, something to follow. Remember, all the way back in the beginning, Morgan had written a letter to them which said, Camelot is in trouble. To save the kingdom, please find 4 special kinds of writing from my library. Something to follow, something to send, something to learn, something to lend. Jack took the list of Clara Barton's rules out of his pocket. He put it on the floor next to Morgan's letter. I wonder how that list will help save Camelot, he said. I don't know, said Annie, but you know what's weird about getting that list? I think we couldn't just have taken it home when we first got it. We had to live it first. So what does that mean? They had to live it. They had to live the list. What does that mean? Because one of the nurses gave them the list when they got to the field hospital, and the list said, be cheerful, lessen sorrow and give hope, be brave, put aside your own feelings and don't give up. So they could have just said, thanks, taken the list and gone home. But they lived each one of those things. When they helped the wounded soldiers in the tents, they had to be cheerful. When they met the man that used to be a slave, they lessened his sorrow and gave him hope. They were brave when they were out looking for other wounded soldiers in the battlefield. They had to put aside their own feelings when they let John go back out because they were worried for the little drummer boy. But they had to put their own feelings aside and not give up. Jack nodded. Annie was completely right, he thought. He picked up his backpack. Wait, I see another note, said Annie. She picked up a piece of paper off of the treehouse floor. On it was written, come back on Wednesday. I guess that's when Morgan wants us to look for the next special writing, said Annie. That's in 3 days, said Jack. Let's go home and rest. He started down the rope ladder and Annie followed. When they stepped onto the ground, the rain began to pour down. Run, said Jack. They ran through the Frog Creek woods, then down their street. They ran to their porch and dashed into their dry, cozy house. They found their parents waiting in the living room. Dad, Mom, Annie cried, we're so glad to see you. Well, we're glad to see you too, their dad said, sounding puzzled, because see, their parents have no idea this is going on. Their parents didn't even know that they had gone into Magic Treehouse back to the Civil War, so their parents probably think they were just outside playing. Go put on dry clothes, said their mom. Jack and Annie started up to their rooms. Halfway up the stairs, Jack stopped. Oh, I have a question, he called to his parents. Did anyone in our family fight in the Civil War? Their dad looked surprised. Yes, he said, one of your great-great-great-grandfathers was a drummer boy. Oh, man, whispered Jack. What was his name, Dad? Asked Annie. So what do you think his name's going to be? It's John. John, their dad said. Jack and Annie gasped. What happened to John? Jack asked. Was he hurt in the war? No, he grew up to be a school teacher, their mom said. He had 5 children. Jack and Annie whooped with joy. That's great news, said Annie. Really great news, said Jack. Thanks for telling us. Sure, their dad smiled, though he looked puzzled again. As Jack hurried up to his room, some words from the Civil War song ran through his mind. Give us a song to cheer our weary hearts, a song of home. So it turns out that the drummer boy that they met was their great-great-great-grandfather. They went all the way back in time and helped their great-great-great-grandfather John. So if you like this book, go ahead and check out some more of the Magic Treehouse books. You don't have to do them in order, but if you want to read the next one, it's going to be number 22, and you'll find out what happens on Wednesday when they go back to the treehouse. All right. Well, I hope you guys liked the book. Our last assignment for this book, you have this in your top for this week. There's a piece of paper that says, Chapter 10, Jack and Annie discovered a family secret when they returned to Frog Creek. Their great-great-grandfather had been a drummer boy in the Civil War. If they could write a letter to him, what do you think they would say? So underneath, you'll see that it is in the format of a letter. So you need to start with Dear John or Dear Grandpa John. And then you're going to write the letter, and then at the bottom, you're going to write sincerely or love, something like that at the bottom, and then your name. So you might write Dear Grandpa John, and then you say what you want to say to him, and say love, Lily. So that's going to be your last assignment. So you can see if there was anything else. No, that's it. Okay, so you'll do that writing assignment, writing the letter, and then that's it for Civil War on Sunday. And next week, we'll start reading a new book. Have a great weekend. Bye, kiddos.